Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. Content is intended to provide accurate information, however, is not intended as financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult a financial, legal, or tax professional for specific information regarding your individual situation. Opinions expressed and provided are for general informational purposes only and should not be considered a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security.
Welcome to Protect and Grow with ChicagoLand certified financial planner Tim Stearns of TJ Stearns Incorporated. Trust, respect, and results. TJ Stearns Incorporated focuses on comprehensive financial planning and benefits.
And welcome into the program. This is Protect and Grow ChicagoLand Retirement with ChicagoLand's certified financial planner, CFP at TJ Stearns Inc. He is Tim Stearns. Tim, welcome back into the program.
Peter, thanks again for having me.
Always a pleasure, Tim. We appreciate the time, the guidance, information, the perspective that you share with the listening audience here. And we always talk about the fact, Tim, that every situation is unique and individual. Never more true than now. I mean, everybody's really had a lot of change, but the change that we've experienced might be very different than that of our neighbor.
Well, yes, I will give a shout out, though, to all the great moms out there, including my mom and my wife, and of course my mother-in-law. I'll get in trouble for that one, right?
Yep.
But all kidding aside, yeah, a lot has changed, but a lot has stayed the same. So there's an article I'm bringing back from the Wall Street Journal that really has some great stuff in there that is, food for the mind, as they say. So and it'll give people peace of mind, because the more you ignore history, the more it repeats itself. So I really believe in it, and there's just some points here I'd like to bounce into, if that's all right.
All right, well, let's get into that Wall Street Journal article in just a moment. I do want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, as we get going, that Tim Stearns is Chicagoland area saver and investors resource for a common sense approach to planning. If you have questions, if you've got concerns, if you'd like to look over your portfolio, your investments, your plan for retirement, pick up the phone and give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. So Tim, what article are you referring to here from the Wall Street Journal?
It's actually from the Wall Street Journal on November 6, 2011, written by a guy that I follow here and there named Michael Pollock. And basically what he talked about is how to rest easy in a crazy market. And I think as things are settling down, and I don't really, who knows when the other shoe will drop for us, but there's some really good points in here. And I'll just lead off with the first one: is get real about your tolerance for pain. Everyone I talked to in March and most of April were absolutely mortified at what was happening to their portfolios. After we've had all these classes that we teach people, this can happen again. And it happened in 2008, and it happened in 2002. It happened in 2000, 2001, 2002 as well. And, it happened graphically, really quickly, precipitously. So remember how you felt at that point. Maybe it's time to make a change. One of the persons I spoke to is 59, and he said, this feels a lot different than when I lost money in 2008. I said, yeah, because you're 12 years older.
Right.
And you're winding down your career. You're not in the heart of your career where you're making probably the most money of your career. So get real about your tolerance for pain and figure out kind of where you're at to trigger that back.
Tim, in 2016 and 2017 and the decade, leading up to that, 2010 through really 2019, a lot of people probably felt as though they had a pretty high risk tolerance and were very comfortable with the risk because every year was an up year in the market. But what we may have grown comfortable with when the market was in that bull run might not be our true risk tolerance and our tolerance for pain with the market.
Right. And Peter, one of the slides that we show people in our retirement class that I think puts everything in perspective is to show you how a investor feels versus a gambler when they're at a casino. And the last one, that when the market goes down so much, is they're euphoric. And that's what good markets, bull markets, die from, is euphoria. And if you remember those meetings we were at in January when I saw you, we talked about that, we're in euphoric. Everyone in the room, oh, through the election, we're going to be great. And what happened? The other shoe dropped.
Yep.
So these are things that people need to be wary of, I should say.
Any other tips from that Wall Street Journal article that you thought were good ones, Tim?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I like is that they should definitely favor funds that cast a wider net, meaning, don't just invest in a bond only fund or a stock only fund. Unfortunately, if you're at a 401k and you're under 59 and a half, you're going to have to stay part of that. You're in 401k and you're stuck there till you either terminate, retire, or turn 59 and a half. If you're over 59 and a half, give us a call and we'll show you where to put your money that's going to be a little more robust, active, and strategic. But that being said, right now I see people, running to the hills to get all into bond funds only. And then, and they're overreacting to what just happened. So you have to have a balance. The other thing I tell people is, hire a pilot who charts a smoother ride. Basically get into something that's a little bit more moderate. Just because in 2019 you made 20%, well, you gave all that and then some back in 1 month. So, how did that feel? Make sure that you don't repeat history. And I see people doing this over and over.
Tim, people do tend to do that, and they also tend to feel they can predict where the market's going to head next, what the direction of the market is going to be.
It's like you're reading the same article, Peter, because it does talk about that. Don't try to wager on where stocks are headed. One of the clients that we were talking to, I told them, I'm like, this isn't a hobby for me. We don't have tea leaves. We don't have, a crystal ball. And you certainly don't when you're at work all day long, when you're at the water cooler here and your experts in the office talk about things, make sure that you are basically, just tempering your expectations, because especially if you're at the latter part of your careers, like all my siblings are, they're all baby boomers. It's time to wind it down and just be happy with a 5-6% gain so that you don't get throttled like you just did in the first quarter.
Remember, you need to have a plan that reflects where you are in life, and the world and economic conditions are going to change around us, but our own situation is going to change and evolve over that time as well. Tim Stearns can help you make sure that your plan keeps up with the economic times and your needs. And as they change and evolve, continue to review and update that plan. Pick up the phone and give him a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, I've heard it a lot, and it's sort of repeated in this article here. During this time, I've heard a lot of people saying that cash is king. Really, in any kind of volatile market, being in a cash position is going to add some stability and comfort.
I agree 100%. You saw so many people get hurt again in the first quarter and the month of April where they don't have money saved, and I feel terrible for them, but, that's something that should be talked about as a family. The other thing is, don't assume that a stock-free portfolio is risk-free. If you shift all of your money into cash, like bank accounts, government bonds, you're going to have inflation risk. And or go the other way, if you put it all in bond funds, when interest rates come back, and they will come back, people, that's going to happen. When interest rates, they have an inverse effect on the value of another bond. All right. And then the other thing I would advocate for, and that's what we're here for, is don't be afraid to ask for some help on things. We can help people take a look at what their portfolio is, take a look at what happened in the first quarter, and so that they understand not to repeat it. And I keep saying repeat it because they're going to do it. I see this happening all the time. People get euphoric and they think, oh, I'm untouchable, nothing's going to happen. And then they start calling their advisor going, oh my gosh, what happened? Mm-hmm. You're supposed to watch out for that. Mm-hmm. And they get revisionist history, but really they're the ones being that way.
Well, again, having that advisor there as a resource, as a guide to hold your hand, to hold you accountable, Tim, it can help us stick to many of those points, which will help us ride out even a wild and turbulent market, and rest a little easier being confident in our plan if we have addressed those factors. And again, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Stearns can help you with that. He is a certified financial planner. Pick up the phone, give a call if you would like that complimentary review, that retirement planning strategy session. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. Tim, you started the program out talking about Mother's Day and lots of special moms out there. They take care of themselves and they take care of others. And in order to achieve that for each of us, I think our top goal is to make sure that we take care of our family and our loved ones are not a burden on them. There are some steps along the way that we should take and consider how we can implement more security for ourselves, which would in turn offer more financial security for our families and loved ones.
Everyone needs a plan, so we need to plan to be able to support ourselves and plan to support loved ones that may depend on us, but not to be cold or callous, but planning for ourselves is the top priority. So, before taking off on a plane, the flight attendant always does the standard safety protocol that most people, granted, are not listening. They always stress that if there's trouble and mask drop from the ceiling, always secure your own mask before helping loved ones you may be traveling with. Well, this is because if you don't work to put yourself in a stable situation, then you can't help to stabilize others. And this is one of the things we riff on a lot and talk about in our retirement classes, that we want to help people. You have to be able to help yourself so that you don't become a burden to your family.
Yeah.
If you run out of money, what do you do at age 80? You go back to work? Of course not. And I know that my mom's 90 years old and she's doing great, knock on wood, but if God forbid something happened to her and she needed our help, we'd help her as much as we can.
Sure.
Well,
we don't want to, we don't ever want to become dependent, and we want a plan that provides for our own well-being. And of course, we want to do the best things to take care of those that depend on us by making sure that we're taking good care of ourselves, Tim.
Exactly. And, the most important thing is take care of yourself so that you don't have to have your kids taking care of you down the road. That takes place with having a written income allocation plan. Make sure that you understand where you're going to be paying bills from when the market precipitously drops like it just did. Remember how that felt that day and those days. I mean, it was very graphic what was going on. And if you take a look at that, if you run out of money, all these baby boomers have worked with a 401k their entire lives. So if the money runs out, it's a finite amount. Now what? You become a Walmart greeter? And I don't think that's what people's goals are. When they retire, they want to ride off into the sunset and have that ideal retirement, what that might be. I have one client, all he wants to do is mow grass at a golf course, but if he loses money in the market, like he would have if he hadn't moved it over to us, he'd have problems, and that would not be happening what he wanted.
Well, again, if you would like to get that plan structured for your retirement, if you'd like to learn more about having an income allocation, if you would like the authoritative book on the topic of structuring that plan for retirement, pick up the phone and give Tim Stearns a call. He does offer a complimentary individual review. You can conduct these in person or through virtual meetings. He also offers the opportunity, if you would like to get that book in your hands, to give away 10 copies of that book, Income Allocation. For either of those two offers, pick up the phone now and give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, I know in order to protect ourselves and to protect our loved ones and our family, there are certain steps that we need to take, protections to put in place, proper tools to have as part of our financial and retirement plan. What is the proper role of life insurance in determining how to protect ourselves and protect our family?
Well, how do you calculate the amount of insurance that you have? I've heard since I started in this industry 26 years ago, 7 to 10 times your salary. Yeah, and that's a great rule of thumb, if you will, but it's not real because everyone's different. Is your house paid off? Do you not have any money? If something happened to you, does your wife stay home and she doesn't have a college degree or what have you? Or maybe you are staying at home and you don't have a college degree and something happens to your wife. All these things that need to be taken into account. And it's so important because no one wants to see their life uprooted by someone who passes away. The other thing I'll say, And just a side note, there are hybrid life insurance policies now that provide, long-term care benefits. That's another thing that's outstanding out there. Speaking of not wanting to become a burden, how about getting long-term care, insurance through the life insurance? A lot of people hate long-term care. Oh, if I don't use it, I lose it. These are not like that at all. These are policies that will actually give you the ability to take down some of the death benefit to pay if you cannot do two of your activities of daily living. And that's huge. We tell people that all the time.
Well, Tim, I know that there was a rush to go out and try to get life insurance in the midst of that pandemic and the ongoing pandemic. There's still kind of a recognized need that people suddenly have that I might need life insurance. Kind of shows two things. One, that it's harder to get life insurance when you need it, and that people recognize that they're probably underinsured.
Oh, absolutely. And it's sad. We studied cases when I was getting my CFP classes of people that waited one more day. And guess what? They had a heart attack. They had a whatever happened, uninsurable. Now what? What is plan B? So I always tell even my children, get ahead of it, plan ahead for what is going to be happening out there because you have no crystal ball. No one does.
So as part of protecting ourselves, which in turn helps to protect our loved ones, life insurance, absolutely an appropriate piece of the structure of that plan. Need to have some, but determine how much, determine what type. That is going to be a unique, individual, situational type of decision. And you can have help with that from a qualified financial professional, from a certified financial planner. Give Tim Stearns a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, I've always heard, buy term and invest the rest. And that by the end of the term, by investing the rest, you would have made up for the amount of life insurance. Well, life tends to get more expensive over time. And I feel like a lot of people forget that important step of investing the rest, which would have been the difference if they had just went ahead and bought permanent insurance at the onset, right? That's the rest. Air quotes.
Right. And that buy term and invest the rest, that was around in 1994, 26 years ago. And a lot of things have changed. A lot of new policies out there, a lot of new cool investments that you can put your money into that actually can put your money in the market, that doesn't put your money at risk. But more importantly, it has that hybrid feature that if you cannot do two of your activities of daily living, you'll be able to, borrow down on it so you're not a nuisance or a burden on your family. And I think that that's absolutely huge. No one wants to have to ask for a handout. That's very sad when you see people doing that. So, I mean, it's something that we can plan ahead for. And yeah, I think it's the great way. Do you put all of your money in a life insurance policy? Of course not. But you should take a look at that as a vehicle so that you can protect your money from, creditors when you have to go, if God forbid you have to go into a home.
Well, certainly to protect our loved ones and those that depend on us, and to protect ourselves with that additional provision and protection for long-term care insurance. That is why life insurance is an important, critical piece of your financial picture. Tim Stearns can help you make those important decisions with it. If you would like to look at it, if you realize that you need to address that portion of your plan, pick up the phone, give a certified financial planner, give Tim Stearns a call, 800-640-2256. Tim, another important part of that financial security and stability that we provide ourselves and to others is having a proper and appropriate amount of savings.
Yeah, and that's what we spoke of earlier. But I mean, the rule of thumb is if both of you work, maybe have 3 months worth of bills in the bank that you can take money out of. If God forbid you get furloughed, that was a new word that came about that a lot of people recognize now.
Hadn't experienced previously. Yeah.
Unfortunately, absolutely. Furloughed, better known as fired, and I hate to be harsh, but that's the truth. If one of you is not working, husband or wife, they say 6 months, and if you're, if you have really high bills, you might want to even put more money away. But that's all different things that you could do with budgeting with a certified financial planner.
Well, again, Tim Stearns here as your resource, ladies and gentlemen. Pick up the phone, give him a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. He had definitely to cover month-to-month expenses. We're not taking a lot of risk with that. Emergency accounts, some short-term goals, always building that foundation first. That is the foundation on which all of our other financial progress is built. Tim, after that's addressed, we also want to make sure that we're doing an appropriate saving or an appropriate investing. Tim, after that's addressed, we also want to make sure that we are doing appropriate investing.
Yes, exactly. Are you investing enough? Are you investing in the right kind of things? The thing I always see with people is they have these target funds and it's set it and forget it. And they've got only stocks and bonds in there. There's so many other vehicles out there that you could be in that are non-correlated to the market, like what just happened to your portfolio. You could actually stemmy that and get it into something that's a little bit more robust. So those are what are you investing in? Stocks and bonds, that was great for your grandparents. There's other things out there. I would tell you to give us a call and take a look at some of the other products that are, they're not just annuities, there's other things. Are you balanced and taking appropriate risk? I find most people aren't. Now they've switched the other way, but 6 months from now, 6 months ago, they were all, the stock market's great. Yeah, I have 94% of my money in there. How old are you? 70 years old. That's crazy.
Yeah. So appropriate could probably be discussed in a number of ways, Tim.
Absolutely.
Are we investing enough? Want to make our way toward retirement and need to make a certain amount of progress in getting some of our dollars put away each year. Are we invested in the right kind of things? Are they risk appropriate? Does it reflect our needs? Now, the advantages of investing are numerous, help us make forward progress above and beyond inflation, and at some point in time reach a level of financial success where we may not have to go to work and earn a paycheck any longer. But there are some risks there, and we need to make sure that we're doing appropriate things. Now, Tim, with any dollar that we have, income or spending or investing, there's going to be a tax bill, and it feels like that the risk of the market, that investment aspect, has been the thing of focus during this crisis. But really, I think the thing that can make maybe the biggest difference is tax planning for the future.
There's a tax bill on the growth of your investment account, except for moving to a different state, which doesn't affect federal taxes. The place where you have the most ability to control this tax bill is in your investment and retirement accounts. We love the Roth 401k option for some people. A lot of people don't know that Medicare is doing means testing when they put together your bill once you turn 65. That's a little scary, so any income you have coming in can be taxable, then from your 401ks, which is usually a baby boomer's biggest asset besides their house. A lot of them kid me and say, no, my house is actually worth less. But at the end of the day, all of your money is tax qualified, meaning Uncle Sam's never gotten a piece of that. So you need to get ahead of it and do some tax planning. And, thankfully, we have a CPA on staff here that can help people.
Well, if you would like to talk with a certified financial planner with that CPA on staff to take a tax planning angle, look and approach at your long-term planning, pick up the phone and give TJ Stearns Inc. and Tim Stearns a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. And literally some of the analysis and strategies that they have helped their clients implemented can make a swing in several hundreds of thousands of dollars in certain cases on the amount that you will pay in taxes over your lifetime. Certainly worth the time to take a look at this. Again, Tim, all just part of the different aspects that we need to look at in order to protect ourselves and help to protect some security for those that we care about, for those that depend upon us.
Right. And some other things that we tell people, are your affairs in order? Do you have an updated estate plan? Oh, well, we did one 10 years ago. Well, what has changed since then? Well, everyone's married and has kids now. Well, these are things, unfortunately, you probably need to update. So we talk about that. We talk about, do they have long-term care insurance? All the different proper protections and precautions that we can be taking as a society so that we don't have to regretfully move in with our kids or have people give us handouts.
Absolutely. Yeah. Things like long-term care and disability insurance and income insurance, all part of that plan, Tim, that's going to provide us with the most security and stability possible so that we can extend that stability and support to others that we care about that depend on us. And so that we don't in turn one day depend on them.
Right, right. And those are things that we try to do. And you know how you're going to do that? A written income plan. And now that this thing happened in the first quarter, I'm more than confident that those are the type of things, because our clients that we helped with an income allocation plan slept better at night. Were they a little bit worried about stocks? Of course,
Sure.
we're all human,
Yep.
but at the end of the day, they did have a plan in place that we knew where, if we needed to go get money, where we would go get it. So that's the type of things, and making sure that you're paying your bills. It's all about income. Everyone asks me, do I have enough to retire? Well, let's do an income allocation plan and let's see if you do.
You need that income allocation plan, ladies and gentlemen, and all of the aspects that we discussed. There's no more important topic in financial planning than how we can protect those that we care about. And in order to prevent bad things from happening to them, we make ourselves as stable as possible. How can we make our loved ones as comfortable as possible? We first and foremost provide for the structure of the plan for ourselves, for that financial security and stability ourselves. Special Mother's Day shout out, but it's not just a Mother's Day planning conversation. Tim, I think you would agree that these steps, these aspects of the plan, they're really important for everyone.
Absolutely. And that's why, every situation is very different now from, 3 months ago. Two neighbors in their 40s with families might have been in a similar situation 3 months ago, and now could be in a very different situation. We're seeing this more and more, including, people my mom's age. They're very cautious now about going out, going places. I get all that.
Sure.
But let's talk about the stock portfolios. Be cautious there. That's a thing too, that you want to make sure that, this pandemic that happened doesn't come back to hurt us again.
Absolutely.
And, where's the other shoe going to drop? I don't know. No one does. But I think that we should take care of this while we can, because we got a second chance yet again.
Still a great time to do some planning, being proactive. It always favors those who plan and prepare. And so let's make sure that we've got that plan in place. Tim Stearns, your certified financial planner, can help you with that. Pick up the phone, give him a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. That strategy session, by the way, where he will help you analyze the risks that you're taking, the fees that you're paying, the taxes that you're liable for, the Social Security claiming strategies, how to generate that lifetime retirement income. All of those aspects, part of that process, it could easily be valued at $1,000 to $1,200 or more. Tim Stearns makes this available to his friends and neighbors, workers and savers across Chicagoland with no cost and no obligation. All you need to do is pick up the phone now and give a call, 800-640-2256. And he's also made that book, Income Allocation, available if you'd like to start by reading the authoritative guide on structuring the plan for a more stable, secure retirement. Call now and request Income Allocation. 800-640-2256, the number to call. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, we always appreciate your time, the guidance that you provide to Chicagoland area savers and investors.
Thanks, Peter. It was my pleasure.
This has been Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement with Chicagoland's certified financial planner, Tim Stearns. Give him a call, ladies and gentlemen, 800-640-2256. And we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program on 890 WLS every Sunday at 11 a.m. and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.